We are back and we are discussing the October performance for the Nairobi Securities Exchange. With us in studio is Mr. Martin Kirimi. He is a senior research associate at SIB. Now, before we went on the break, we had just discussed the top gainers. We'll quickly go through the top 10 losers. What stood out for you in that particular month? I think our graphics team can put that out for us.
The top losers, actually, it's mostly small caps, aside from Centum. And HF, I think HF here is down 6%.
Okay, housing finance. All right.
Housing finance. The last time when I came here, I remember in September it had gained over 50%.
Yes, it had. It was the top gainer.
Precisely, yeah. So this I think is purely and simple profit taking.
Profit, people selling out to actually take a profit.
Just taking profits.
Okay.
And you can see that the beauty about it is that the profit taking hasn't been your out of the door, rush out of the door.
Yes.
Clearly, this one shows you investors are still confident of the new strategy that Robert Kibara and his team have.
Oh, interesting. All right. Let's move on to the top 10 movers. Equity Bank, for once, surpasses Safaricom. What was happening there?
It's all about rate cap repeal. And a lot of local interest and foreign outflows. Actually, the reason why Equity Bank actually was the lead top net outflow in the month.
Oh, yes.
Which ideally resulted in a negative net outflow position for the whole month of October.
Okay, and that's a lot. I think you have it in dollar terms. That's about
$20.4 million.
$20.4 million.
Yes.
That's 2.4 billion, about 2.4 billion shillings.
Yes,
Okay.
2.4 cash.
And that's slightly, that's what, almost 10% over and above the next company that saw a net outflow, and that's EABL.
Yes.
And that we are looking at the chart on top 10 movers. There you have it. So we are looking at Equity Bank up. Okay, I think our graphics team will be able to show that to us. That's very interesting because also in your report, this is the first month that we are actually seeing negative flows with regards to foreigners, meaning that the foreigners are selling more than they are buying into the market.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? What's your sentiment on that?
I think the beauty about to look at it is from the angle that it's only one counter.
Okay.
It's one counter, and I need to dig more into why that is the case because it shows you there's a lot of local interest. It's also foreigners. I would say that foreigners was also not interested in buying the stock. So whoever is selling, it's only that there's more selling than buying.
There's more selling than
buying from foreigners.
Okay.
And then locals as well, now they're way more excited. That's why you're seeing
finally their trigger point. So it's actually the local investors that have been driving up the rally.
Precisely,
on the stocks.
24%, that's local investors.
That's local investors.
And then that's the sad thing about our locals. They always come in when almost late to the party.
They're always late to the party.
They're always late
Maybe
to the party.
Maybe it's an African thing. Africans never keep
always,
time. So
okay, yes.
Perhaps.
No, unfortunately we do. Eliud Kipchoge is an example.
Fair enough. Well, but he did keep time in Africa, though, on a light note.
Okay.
So the top 10 foreign net inflows. Again, now, Safaricom was the recipient, the largest recipient for this. You did say that the half-year results was suddenly a trigger for this.
Yes, the net inflows. The trigger always starts just towards the last 2 weeks or the last 1 week just before the half-year announcement. So that's when, and it still has continued to this week as well.
Okay.
So there's still interest in
There's still interest in this one.
Yeah.
But interestingly, when you look at October, in terms of price performance, it's only up 8%.
It's only 8%, yeah.
But then year to date, it's up 34%.
34%. Oh,
okay.
Wow, that's good.
That's good.
Remember December they took a beating?
It did.
It did take a beating, but which eventually led to a nasty performance of negative 18%.
Okay, so it's 50% market cap weighting is certainly anything happens to it.
Exactly.
Do you expect it to go up in this particular month because of the numbers? 14.4% growth in earnings?
Look at the top line. The
top line is actually very
weak. The top line is softening.
Okay.
That's so
I
think that will be a worry.
So a correction actually on the price. It could come down.
Not too down. I think it will still stay stable in your 28 to 30 regions for quite a while.
Yes.
I think until they said in January they want to release a new product lines for M-Pesa. And then exactly, and the Ethiopia is
a big thing. Do they have money for Ethiopia? Because we had an analyst here yesterday talking about Ethiopia, and they need about, the license goes for about $1 billion.
$1 billion, yes.
Can they afford it?
They're doing actually, it will be a consortium of 4 companies.
Okay, so fair enough.
Safaricom, Vodacom, the parent, and 2 more which they declined to say.
Okay.
So I think they will have the cash.
Okay.
In my view, I think they will probably have the cash on that. The rest of the top movers, you can see KCB. KCB did pretty well. Has been attracted inflows, and yeah, basically it's been a mix of companies.
Okay, so KCB up 23% in the month, up 38.2% in the year.
Yeah. All
right, then the other, I think the banks really were the ones that are dominating. Cooperative Bank, INM, and NCBA.
Yes, but DTB, if you notice, even year to date is down 24.8%. And an investor actually called to ask us why. Actually, it was
a laggard. It only gained 3.3%, and
yes.
everybody else was in the 20s.
Yes.
What was happening there?
I think, in my view, from where I sit, I think it's the shareholder profile.
Shareholder profile.
Okay.
All right.
It's an illiquid counter. And then secondly, the reason why it's down 33%, it actually took a beating of all the banks earlier on.
Yes.
It's because the business strategy was really taking a hit with the rate caps. With the rest going ahead, and they're very good in efficiency. Their cost-to-income
ratio is good, but in terms of just generating value for the shareholders,
precisely,
from revenue.
From the revenue, the net interest margins very squeezed.
Okay.
Yeah, so the deposit funding is very high. The lending is still capped, and then now also they can't. The lending profile also for the clients based on the retail, based on their client profile is brings about very low margins.
Okay.
Yes.
So then do we expect, if it has been the least performer in terms of 3.3%, is there a window for it to actually rally up and catch up with the other banks? Could we see 15% before the year closes? No. Yeah. So 3.3% is as good as it gets.
No, I don't say it is as good as it gets. Of course, now, if with today's actions, I think tomorrow also we should see some exuberance in the market.
Okay.
So I think it's all about the shareholder profile. As in, you find that your largest shareholder, the Aga Khan Foundation.
No movement there.
So no movement
there.
Okay.
So there's actually no free float on
this
particular
one. There's no
free float.
There's very little free float. I&M actually did a bonus issue to increase the free float, but you can still see that still taking time for
12.2%.
Yeah,
12.2%, 18.8%.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we can circle in on the top 10, the foreign net inflows. Safaricom being a recipient, KCB, Diamond Trust Bank, Centum. What are your general sentiments with regards to foreign investor sentiment on the NSE?
I think we will have quite a bullish sentiment once the rate cap is repealed, because now all of a sudden we'll be attracting foreign capital, especially on banks and also on the cement sector. I'll say this, that ideally speaking, and this is something we have discussed internally in our research team.
Yes.
That after rate cap, that's when you started noticing quite a hit in building and construction.
Exactly.
Year-on-year growth when it comes to loans to that sector took a hit. And remember, your biggest consumption of cement is individual home builders.
Yes, it is.
So if you notice all of a sudden that now there's flow of credit to individuals and now construction companies and the like, I should see an uplift in price in terms of an uplift in the fundamentals for the Bamburi.
Well, that's interesting. So Bamburi is down 30.8% year to date.
Yeah.
So could we actually see maybe a correction in the next 12 months?
In the next 12 months, yes.
Yes.
And God willing, I'll come here and then we will talk about this. Wait a second.
All right.
And I remember talking to my colleagues, I'm like, when the rate cap, if the rate cap gets repealed,
so the gainers,
repealed,
yes.
Guys need to look at Bamburi
so it's interesting. So you're saying the rate cap, the people who are set to, rather the industries that are set to benefit banks, that's rather obvious.
Yes.
Now you're saying cement companies.
Add cement to that.
What other industry would we be looking at?
Centum as well, because
Centum
I'm looking at Centum is pretty much diversified in terms of where the different sectors that it's in. However, especially now the real estate front. You remember now the big on real estate, and then now we should see also credit to the real estate sector.
So then that should be positive for them.
That should be positive for them. And I think there will be a springboard, if I can say a springboard, across most of the sectors. But the one that really comes to mind off Bamburi.
Yes. Okay, so
yes.
we have come to our time has come to an end. But you, for the last time you were here, you did mention something about Scan Group. What happened there, very briefly, as we come to the close?
I said that around in July, I remember either July or June or July, they released a press statement that they've sold off one of the subsidiaries.
Yes.
And then when I came here, I said that they will, from where we sit, we think that that money, once they've sold off that subsidiary,
expect an
they'll
interim
do an
dividend.
interim dividend. And again, guess what? Last week, Friday, they released a statement that it will actually be issuing an interim dividend, and then the stock by just Friday and yesterday was up close to 24%.
So we need to pay attention
so
to what you say.
Story,
we have made 24%.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Martin, for your insights. And they're quite invaluable to us. So there you have it. It looks like it's been a very interesting month. The key trigger there being the rate cap repeal. That's a conversation that is ongoing in Parliament. We will keep you updated on what happens. Expect a bullish turnaround in the month of November, largely from the foreign investors, as well as participation from the local investors. Thank you once again for joining us, and see you again same time tomorrow. Good afternoon.